matter. Well, we're joined now by Mr. Kenneth Odidika, who is a legal practitioner and also a member of the People's Democratic Party. Morning, and thank you for coming on today.
Good morning.
Well, interestingly, we've seen how both houses deliberated on this matter. What strikes you from both deliberations?
First of all, some correction. I was a member of People's Democratic Party.
Really?
Currently, I don't belong to any political party in Nigeria.
You completely left?
I'm not a politician.
What happened?
You've seen it. You've seen the Nigerian politician.
Wow. I
don't belong to that. I'm not of that ilk.
So you're just going to go ahead and face?
I've been facing my law practice ever since.
Oh, okay.
I observe what happens, whatever little contribution I can make to the society, I make. But I don't belong to any political party.
Okay, that's interesting. All right. Tell us then, what strikes you from what's going on?
Is it maybe a little bit of background? This is just symptomatic of what the Nigerian political scene actually is. It's all about personal interest. What we saw 2 days ago and even continuing today, yesterday and today in River State, is something that happens all over the country. It's just that one came to a boiling point. The average Nigerian politician is more interested in what comes to him, what he gets out of the system, than what benefits the majority of the people. And it's not a PDP matter, it's not an ACN matter, it's not whatever political party exists, or APC, whatever it is. It is the political system in Nigeria, as created and developed and nurtured by certain elements who have now made it to be the system. Now, back to directly River State. The current governor of River State was once in the House of Assembly.
Yeah.
He was even the Speaker of the House. Then, the governor of River State was Dr. Peter Odili, who he had been his personal assistant when he was just in medical practice. I don't know how exactly he won the election into that house, whether he really won the election when his boss and mentor was the governor. And thereafter, he became the speaker for 8 years. You see, what happened in River State, or what is happening in River State, will upset any decent human being. But why is it that we go to create a problem, and then when it starts attacking us, we start lamenting and shouting, woof? Nigerians should actually rise, not the funny thing I hear about Egypt and Syria, is it Syria, those things. But Nigerians should rise and take back their country. The characters that have the appellation leader or leaders in Nigeria will not, from what I'm seeing, from what I'm observing, take Nigeria anywhere except downhill. Yesterday, one of my staff people who went somewhere to do some transactions for my firm, said they were shooting all over the place. Now, we don't know whether anybody died. Well, at least I don't know whether anybody died. But these are also human beings. So if anybody died, we just say, oh, the president regrets the untimely death of Mr. A or Mrs. B. And their own lives go on because they're protected. How could anybody take that trouble like honorable, at least one of the honorables we have, because most of them are dishonorable, Abike Dabiri, observed. And we saw that video. And was hitting another person as he wasn't beating him, he was battering him. That is, if I could kill you, I want to kill you. That was what I saw. The man in white face suit or something, and a red cap, who eventually, I saw in another picture, lying in a hospital bed.
They said he was battered first.
Who battered? Battered and he had that energy. He must be Mike Tyson. I'll tell you what happens. When I was in politics, when I was contesting for this gubernatorial thing in Anambra State, on one occasion somebody advised me that I should go get a gun to fire on my Land Cruiser, so there'll be bullet holes and I will say that I was attacked. Wow. That was a piece of advice from a politician, that I should do that to my own car so that I will not say I was attacked. Those are the kind of people. So you now see somebody who else
sympathy.
Of course, it will elicit sympathy, and then whatever else they get from that. I don't know what they do in that place called politics in Nigeria. Now, The same man who we all saw, this one is not story, battering another person, now went to lie in a hospital bed and say he was battered. If I see any injury on that man's body, I will tell you he inflicted it on himself, knowing what I know about Nigerian politicians. And that is, what the man did was a crime. He committed a crime.
But they say he's got, okay, does he have any immunity? Can he be prosecuted?
I'm just telling you right now that what he did, there's no immunity. What immunity? Is he a governor? Is he a deputy governor? Is he president? Is he vice president? He can't be prosecuted. The immunity, what you have that should not be attacked, if you're in that chamber and you are doing your duty, it's not when you're killing somebody. It's not when you're killing somebody. There's no immunity when you're killing somebody in that chamber. Let anybody show me the law that says that. And this is not taking the sides of anybody. I don't even know who is fighting against who. All I know is that there are a lot of dishonorable people who claim their appellation honorable. And they are supposed to be making laws for you and me.
So
how can people make laws for us?
In spite of all that is going on now, that particular incident should be isolated and treated on its merit as it happened. It means they should actually face the law.
Exactly. At least those that we have evidence against. Not, oh, somebody slapped me yesterday. This one, we saw you battering somebody, trying to kill somebody. With somebody in this is their new uniform, police uniform, aiding to kill that person too. And that man is still wearing uniform, walking around and answering a policeman. So the thing is this. The thing that happened in university, like I said, is symptomatic of what happens in Nigeria in the on our political system. Whether at the presidency, presidential level, gubernatorial level, you have just a few exceptions. There's no real governance going on in Nigeria.
So this move by the National Assembly, by the House of Reps, to take over operations of the State Assembly, what do you think of that?
You see, at the time they made passed that resolution, you know, they are fond of passing all manner of resolutions. At the time they passed that resolution, it was premature. Because they were sitting, they are sat. So is it possible that it's even that resolution that precipitated the now takeover? As I understand, I don't live in River State. The now takeover of the assembly by the military, I don't know. Because as at the time they made it, it was not necessary. They were already sitting. This, let me make myself very clear. I do not support undemocratic actions and attitudes. So for 5 men or women, well, for 5 people, legislators, to sit down and say they were impeaching the speaker, when from them we heard that their quorum is even 11 for a start, and then you now go to the number of people that could actually effect make such a move. So there was no way 5 people could have effectively removed the speaker. You have a right to sit down in your house or sit down anywhere and say what you like. But how effective, that's why I use the word effective. How effective is that announcement? We have removed the speaker. Who is removing the speaker? 2 people, 5 people? When you have 32 members? So, it's not even impossible, knowing what I know about Nigerian politicians, that some people deliberately set up those 5 people to do this in order to precipitate what is happening now. And I'm not sure which side that could do that. It could be any side. The Nigerian politician, average Nigerian politician, is very devious.
Let's look at that action that those 5 people took. And, of course, generating subsequent reactions from what we've seen so far. Could it be that, because some say from precedents, they've seen a similar situation where a minority group says they've impeached certain person, they announce it, everybody runs with it, and the next thing that the other group have got to do is to go to court. So maybe in the light of that, they were trying to prevent that kind of situation. Could that have justified any of this reaction so far?
In effect, legislators now taking the law into their hands. Your landlord, rather than give you notice to quit, comes and tries to remove you or lock your gate.
Okay, that's the one you talked about. So, well, at the moment you say he was not performing his functions, and so the law shall actually take its course.
I don't know whether he was elected to use this thing to beat up people. Was that what he was elected to do?
But the House of Reps didn't actually focus on this particular one. They decided to focus on how 5 people, perhaps that's the bigger issue for them. Could that be?
You see, we don't value life in Nigeria. If we did, this should
That's
be of
Even the
interest.
police.
There's the man. Look at, is that not blood? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't mean anything to them anyway. Because life doesn't mean anything to them for as long as they have their own policemen protecting them. If your landlord, rather than give you notice to which the law requires, now comes to lock your gate and all that. So what you should do is to go to kill your landlord's wife, so as not to remove you, rather than go to court to do what they're supposed to do, and maybe then when you win the case, you get your damages. You cannot justify what happened yesterday on 9th in that assembly. 5 people sat. Okay, wait. If you needed to go to court, okay, go to court. But if today, and by the way, today is my birthday. I turned 54 years today.
Oh, happy birthday.
And you see, Nigeria, some 10 years ago in my own state, something like this, something worse happened. My then governor was kidnapped. That's Nigeria for you. Anyway, back to River State. Now, they sat and said they had removed the speaker. Ignore them. Now, even if you had to, after they have been on recess forever. So what's 1 more day or 2 more days? Then you go back to Thursday, the 11th of July, and you start sitting. The risk speaker is sitting down. Who removed who? What access? How would those 5 people have access to certain instruments of office? Not just the mace. After the manufacturer mace, anyhow, we know that. Do you know Akadibo's time? One came from Obunike. So these things happen daily. So it's not just the mace. How would, I don't know their names, the 5 people, how would they gain access to be able to act effectively, answer speaker and whatever other titles they give to themselves? So you could have allowed them and go to house today or yesterday, and then life would have gone on, rather than maiming and trying to kill people. And now turning River State into a war zone.
But does that mean that it wouldn't have had any legal bearing whatsoever if the rest, is it 26 or 27, if they had just ignored what transpired and then continue your sitting business as usual?
You see, no more that for no habit. You can't give what you don't have. Ex in the hill on the hill. Nothing can say on illegality. There's nothing. There's no basis for those 5 people to have said there was a speaker. So there was no other speaker. So the person to ignore, I didn't even say go to court and get it announced. No. Ignore them because it does not exist.
Assuming, some people also say that that would have been the sanest thing to do, but considering the nuances around it, the fact that you never can tell what might happen from, the battle right now is alleged to be between the state governor and his former chief of staff, who happens to be at the center. And if they get support from the center, the 5 people get support from the center, what becomes of the state governor?
Unless you're saying that those 5 people will now get the other 27, or at least a majority of the other 20, is my master right?
Yeah.
The other 27, or a majority of the other 27 to their side, to now reconvene and put into effect what those 5 had tried to do. There is nowhere on this earth, in Nigeria, going by our constitution, that so-called impeachment, so-called, could have held. Whether the chief of staff, former chief of staff, is now in the center, or is even the vice president, or is even the president, that could not have happened, because it did not exist. It's just like I'm sitting down here and I say, okay, I'm Pt.1. Yes, I've said what I want to say, but is it effective? So Governor Pt.1 now started running helter-skelter because
there are procedures.
Kenneth Odidika said that I removed him.
You don't have to go to court to prove wrong that action happened.
Which action? Which action are we talking about?
Do you see any similarities between this situation and what transpired in the Governor's Forum?
That is one body I don't even like hearing of. It reinforces what I just said before about the selfishness of the Nigerian politician. What is that forum about anyway, if not to protect the direct interests of those elements there, the governors there? They don't do anything for the Nigerians. They all have states they are governing. Let them go and govern their states. If they govern their states properly, we won't have these issues. So what is the governor's forum about? To make sure that they get more allocation from the center, which they will all fritter away.
Regardless of what they might be about, I'm simply asking about the election issues. We heard about 16 to 19, 19 to 16, 19 being greater than 16, 16 greater than. Do you see any similarities between that?
Well, right now, because what I saw was what they showed us on television. So I don't even know who won what, 16, 19. But can you even see it's the proximity, the nearness of it, 16, 19. And somebody from the other camp, that's a governor, an ACN governor, says, please remove the president out of this. He's not part of this. See what happened. This is not a PDP man this time, because usually a PDP problem. But an ACN governor, a respected one, said, no, this is our problem. And it's what we did. So I can't see the relationship between that and what happened in River State. If that was what they wanted to do, they should have at least got out of 32. They should have got, even if it's 15 to 17, or 14 to 18. 5 people.
Okay, the number one, there's no quorum.
There's no quorum.
And so
and there's a certain number of people that must, a certain percentage, 2/3 members. If I'm right, I'm not sure. I think the House rule and all that says that, and the Constitution. But at least it couldn't have been 5 people out of 32. So nothing happened. Some people just went to blow hot air, as we say in Nigeria. They went to blow hot air.
So do you support?
Could things have been different? Because we understand that across, opposite the State Assembly is the police headquarters. Could things have been different if the police commissioner had been removed, considering the fact that the governor, whose chief security officer, had been complaining about the commissioner for a while?
From what I've read so far and seen so far, I can't really put my finger on that thing that the commissioner of police has done wrong. He don't like my face. So I'm sorry. I don't work for you. I have a responsibility under the Constitution as given to me by my boss, the Inspector General of Police, to do my work here. My work is not to pander to the wishes of the governor or the wishes of even the president in that state. It is to try to ensure that there's peace, law, and order. So where the actions of even the president will precipitate disorder, I have a responsibility to ensure order, even against the